Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
She is here this time. We're going to talk about Kotaku and how they might get a short reprieve. Now, I did a video the other day talking about Kotaku and how they had their editor-in-chief leave suddenly, and apparently they were going to push their writers to pivot to game guides and stay away from news.
Probably because that's what actually gets some views.
Probably because that's what actually gets them views. And also, given what happened with Deadspin and given the drama around Sweet Baby Inc. and Gamergate 2.0, they probably don't want to get sued. Because every time one of their writers spouts off with some, hit piece on gamers or on individuals in the gaming industry or whatever, they open themselves up to litigation. Mm-hmm. And it's not worth it. The website's not making enough money to get into some multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So let's talk about the update. Bounty in the Comics has a nice encapsulation of what happened, and then they're talking about how, they're going to talk to management. And we were talking before we started the video. It's like, no, they're just buying time.
Probably, till some other buyer just suddenly appears. Like, we weren't planning on selling Deadspin. Just a buyer just happened to show up.
They're buying time because they've got to keep the site running while they go find a buyer. And it might be that same company that bought Deadspin. That'd be interesting. Because the domain has value. It does have value because it's been out there for a while, at least a decade or two. And there are all kinds of backlinks. So the domain itself is probably worth a couple $1 million anyway, even without content. And somebody could buy it and turn it into something. I don't know, like a hentai site or something.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know. Anyway,
that was oddly specific, but okay.
Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
It's coming from Bounty in the Comics. Kotaku owners Geo Media reportedly backed down from fully shifting site from news to game guides after editor-in-chief resigns and the staff push back.
But the editor left. So even if they were walking back, the editor already left, so you can't come back now.
Yeah. It's crazy. They said, there's the now former editor-in-chief, Jen Glennon, announced her resignation from the outlet via Twitter. And she's like, I've resigned. And they had the one editor, Alyssa Mercante. She's the one who wrote the hit piece on the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected list and Cabrutus. Well, anyway, she's just out there doing all kinds of damage. They need to get her gone. Personally, I think they need to get her gone. And she's the one that actually admitted, I think, that she was a sex worker before she was a gaming journo. She's like, I'm going to go back to that. I'm like, okay.
Go ahead.
Go for it. Personal news. I've resigned after careful consideration. That's kind of like, just announcing it on Twitter, like, bitches, I'm out of here. But anyway, she said, I firmly believe the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides is fundamentally misguided, given the current infrastructure of the site. This decision is directly contradicted by months of traffic data and shows an astonishing disregard for the livelihoods of the remaining writers and editors who work here. They don't care.
No, they didn't care about the other places, the other people either.
No.
They're all gone, effective immediately. They didn't care.
No, what they care about is not getting their asses sued. Because especially Alyssa Mercante, she's out there running at the mouth.
Question, if she goes back to sex work, is she going to get any, or do you have to actually get past her initial checks about feminism and whether or not you're a gamer and
achievement unlocked.
All this stuff for women, and everything else to make sure that you can even get to the place where you just do that? Because okay,
before you take your pants off, are you a dirty bigot?
That's right. Because have
you ever been involved in Gamergate? Do you belong to that list, that Sweet Baby Inc. detected list? What's your username? Per a source close to the situation who spoke to Aftermath's Nathan Grayson, who I think worked for one of these publications, I can't remember which one, Kotaku staff will be expected to create 50 guides a week at the site. 50 guides a week.
That was ridiculous, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, that was stupid.
It's like 10 game guides a day.
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
But we said before, we were talking about this before. Most of the traffic for these sites like IGN and Kotaku and Polygon stuff probably comes from like legacy content. Probably comes from people looking for answers. And this is a short-term solution. I mentioned it in the other video because what's going on with Google is that their new AI search engine will give you the result you're looking for instantly. It will scrape it from one of these sites. So even if Kotaku puts out 50 game guides, if somebody's just looking up, hey, how do I beat this Elden Ring boss? It's just going to give them a 1-paragraph answer, or it's going to give them a link to a YouTube video.
Probably.
So the game guides aren't going to do them much good. I think what they're doing is they're keeping them busy and they're keeping them out of news because...
Well, I think it's because of Gamergate and they're afraid they're going to get sued.
They're afraid they're going to get sued.
What's going on?
That's exactly what's going to happen. So this is one of their people, you know what, fuck it, here's a cup of tea. Management doesn't care about the quality of the guides. It wants to aggregate them from other sites, like a literal content mill.
Probably.
That they're destroying livelihoods gags me. Last thing I'll say is this. Someone at the top just told us to get guides done because the AV Club watches full seasons of a show and still produces their stories. They don't understand what we do.
Well, what do you do? Because so far all I hear is a bunch of whining.
We have to go to the internet and cause drama and cause outrage and drive traffic to our site. Hate views, basically hate clicks.
But they were literally told the AV Club watches entire shows to write their pieces.
They actually watch,
to actually
play the games.
Write about games. That's basically what I told them.
You need to play the games.
You have to actually play the games and then write about them.
That's
what that boils down to.
I would be wondering if these people were on my watch and they were full-time employees and they were spending as much time on Twitter creating drama and getting into Discords and all this crazy shit, potentially getting our publication into a lawsuit I do not want to pay for. I'd be like, what the fuck do you do all day? I mean, what do you do all day?
Go on Twitter and start shit. Go to people's Discords or onto their Slacks or onto their whatever and start shit. That's what they do all day, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if she goes back to sex work, at least she'll have her mouth full and her hands full, so she won't be talking or typing.
Alyssa Mercani, the Kotaku staff had a somewhat productive meeting with management. Expect news to continue coming from us, at least for now. Your support and your voices certainly help. Thank you. I'm telling you, they're keeping you busy because they want you to stay as long as they want you to stay. They don't want you to leave in a huff like the other person did, like the other editor did. You're on borrowed time. I'm telling you, they're already looking for I'm with you. They're already looking for a buyer for Kotaku or something, or they're going to shut the shit down. But you're being given busy work and they don't want you creating news stories because they do not want you to get them sued. They don't want more Gamergate drama.
These people are like really gunning for it. She's one of the ringleaders.
Yeah.
Are the ones, leading the pack on potentially getting them sued.
Yeah. And, they had back last year, Patricia Hernandez was fired. Glennon was hired in October of 2023, gone already.
Yeah, we talked about that before when they were hired. Yeah.
Rage quit. I think they're telling them to stick to games, stick to guides.
When they're saying that the AV Club watches shows and does their stories, and they're telling them to do the same, that tells me, play your damn games, actually play the games, and write about games, because that's what you're hired to do.
Yes. Stick to sports.
Don't try to make Gamergate 2.0 because that's what we're here for.
Well, that's what I think is going on. I think
we're going to get sued if you keep going out there calling people bigots and all this other shit. Like Deadspin got sued. So maybe stop this shit before we sell you too.
They've probably been told that in not so many words. They seem pretty blunt over there. So there we go.
She's used to selling herself, so it doesn't really matter for her.
I'm going to wrap it up. Let's wrap this one up, guys. We're going to watch this because I think, we called End Stage Kotaku about 3 months ago, and it just felt like you get a feeling for when a company is not doing very well. You start to see some things happening. You're like, this is slipping, that's slipping a little bit, and they're not really talking about future plans. Yeah, this company's slipping. They're about done. We're going to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.